Welcome back to another podcast episode of Cafecito Corner. My name is Bree, and here I have my co-host, Edward.
I'm the co-host?
Yes, that's what the people decided.
I know.
And we usually like to start off our episodes with our coffee of the day. What was your coffee that you got today?
I just did black coffee again, but I added a little bit of almond milk. I couldn't do another black coffee. I've had like 7 this week. Switched it up a little bit. I'll be back to black tomorrow.
Do you like the almond milk?
No. Honestly, I forgot how bad almond milk was.
Why? It doesn't taste that bad.
I don't know. I like peanuts. I like cashews. I like pistachios. Almonds, not so much.
You don't like almonds?
They're okay. I always found it really weird when people would get almond joys. Oof.
I actually like almonds.
You like almond joys out of all the candies?
No. Not almond joys, but I like the cinnamon sugar coated almonds.
You know what's good? Snickers. They have a almond Snicker. That one's pretty fire.
You like Snickers and what's the other one that you like?
Twix.
Yeah. No, you don't. No. What's the peanut butter one?
I don't like the peanut butter ones. Like
you literally
Reese's?
got an orange one the other day.
Oh, I was trying to fast break.
Oh.
Like the fast breaks?
Yeah. I do not
Reese's
like
ones?
those because they have peanut butter.
Yeah. I mean, they're like not the worst ones for you. The peanut butter's not too bad. So.
I cannot, but I've had coffee with almond. Well, I literally am drinking coffee from home because you forgot to get me Starbucks today. And I had to make my coffee.
I just woke up 4 hours earlier than you.
Yeah, I slept in because it was Sunday.
Today's the Lord's Day. It's not sleeping day.
No.
I was out here praying at the gospel.
Yeah.
Joined the choir this morning. And what were you doing?
Sleeping.
I was like at Sunday service.
I was actually trying to go to church today, but I didn't wake up.
I threw on one of Kanye's Sunday services.
Is that's your Sunday service?
No, I'm just kidding. I think he's canceled now.
Oh my god. I'm drinking coffee from home with almond milk, and it tastes bad, but here we are trying to be healthy.
Trying to make it happen.
Peak and pits of the week. My peak was probably... Oh, actually, I'll start with the pit. This week, I have literally had a pinched nerve on my back all week.
Yeah.
You didn't believe me.
I didn't. It's because I never know with you. Sometimes
Why?
you'll be like, oh, like, I have a cramp on my leg because you just wanted to massage
Oh
your
my
foot.
god, that happened this morning. An actual cramp on my leg part, and I was trying. You were sleeping. It was like 6 a.m, and I was trying not to wake you up, and it was I was squeezing the pillows.
Have we told the story about the first time we moved in together or no?
I don't think we have. We should tell them.
Yeah.
That's probably one of our best stories.
No. It's one of my most disturbing stories.
I think it was the best.
Well, yeah, it wasn't at this house. We were at the other house. Mm-hmm. I think it was like probably one of our first nights sleeping together, right?
It was our first week moving in together.
Yeah. And, I mean, it was already, like, uncomfortable because, like, you know, you overthink everything. You're like,
yeah.
Do I snore?
And you snore.
Do I throw my arm too fast and punch her in the face at night? Like, things like that, you know? Or, like, things that keep you up. Like, am I taking up too much of the bed so you sleep on the edge and you're falling all night? Like, things like that. Not only that, but you had ordered yourself a white noise machine. Mm-hmm. Which sounded like Rainforest Cafe.
Mm-hmm. Because we live next to a freeway, and I wasn't used to that.
So, the thing is, we don't live that close to the freeway. Like, you can't even hear it.
Yes, you can.
You've always lived in a very private area. Mm-hmm. So you're not used to road noise. Mm-mm. So it would literally just be the cars of like our neighbors leaving or something, and you would act like we were next to the F1 race. We live in a corner home, you know,
next to the freeway.
You could see the ramp like for the freeway.
We're on the freeway. Basically, our house is on the freeway.
Sure, if that makes you sleep at night. We're just going through that phase of like overthinking the nightly routine and everything. Like, you wanted to sleep with the light on. I didn't.
I wanted a night light. And
no, I have to have it pitch black. And yeah, so we're dealing with all that. And then, so we pass out one time at night and you literally wake up screaming ballistic, like, bah! Ah!
Literally everything I had inside of my lungs. I've
never woken up like scared because like like there's one thing to wake up like with a bad dream, you're like, oh, but like I woke up to danger, like in my mental, like I'm like, oh my god, like someone's in here. But like I woke up so quick, I remember I couldn't see anything. Like I was just like seeing stars. I'm like, what? And then I'm like looking at the door, looking at the window. No one's inside. I'm like looking at the floor. I stand up and I start moving the sheets because I'm like, maybe now it's an animal. Like I don't know. But you're still on the bed, so I'm like, there has to be somebody in here because she's covering her eyes. So I keep looking. I come back and I'm like, I can't catch my breath. I'm like, hey, like what's going on? And you're like, oh, my leg. So I'm like, oh my god, like she's probably like scorpioned out or shot through the window by a sniper from the freeway ramp. So I start looking at the window. I'm like, oh my god, like there's something just punctured her leg.
Somebody shot me.
Then I'm feeling for your leg because I'm like, it might be in the back of her head. And then you're like, and I hear you giggle. You're like,
first of all, you're looking for my leg and you're touching by my head. I'm like, first of all, my leg's over there, not over here.
What if like you like, and I don't know, like I just woke up so quick and I'm like, she might be like looking into her leg.
I pretzeled myself.
Yeah. And I remember I was so pissed because you started giggling. You're like, and I'm like, what the hell? So then you're like, a cramp. And I was so mad. So
it was bad.
I remember that I was just like, you deal with that? Because I've never been woken up to actual fear of being afraid for your life before. And not only that, I grabbed my blanket, turn around, like didn't even look at you the rest of the time while you like fix your cramp. And I remember that all I could think about was how hard my heart was beating. And it took me probably 30 minutes to control myself
to go to sleep.
Between the anger / the heartbeat.
Yeah.
So I remember that 30 minutes later, I was finally thinking about going back to sleep.
So
ridiculous.
I'm glad you told your side of the story. Now I'll tell the truth. What happened was that
is the truth.
And it happened this morning, and it rarely ever happens. My leg, like what's the bottom part of your leg? Like your calf.
Yeah.
My calf muscles, I genuinely feel like twist where they're about to burst. And it's the worst feeling ever. Like literally, I just that was the first time it's ever happened to me too. I think it's when I wake up and I move too fast, or I wake up and I instantly like stretch my toes out, and it felt like it was about to burst. And I just never had that feeling before. So I started screaming like I've never screamed before. And then I was just, okay, I need to like stay still. And then when you were like looking at the top of my head and like looking outside the window, I just like started laughing because I was like, I could tell you were so upset and so mad. There was nothing else for me to do than to laugh because I was like, dude, I got him all riled up and I'm about to tell him.
I was in deep sleep and I was tired because I remember we were still doing things to the house. Like the house didn't come with fans or anything. So I was like putting fans, I was like hanging chandeliers, like stuff like that. And I remember like I was exhausted. I was in deep sleep.
You were in, what is it called? Deep REM. It's called deep REM sleep.
I don't know.
Well, now
but
you know.
I just know I was out.
So I just couldn't stop laughing. And I could tell you were so mad. But you know what? You've never had that feeling. So you can't get upset at me for that.
Had the feeling of what?
Of your muscles almost bursting like
You've
that.
never had the feeling of being woken up to your life being in danger, fear.
What had me
I'm
dead
gonna do that to you tonight.
What had me dead was like, why were you looking out the window?
Because for somebody to like hit you with like being thrown like this on the bed and like going my leg, like you don't think that they broke their foot while they were sleeping. You think they got shot.
I think that was the time where you were like, I need to sell the house. We're moving out. I can't do this. It was first week of us moving in together.
I think it was that's an interesting time.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I did not yell this morning because it happened to me again.
I think I would have moved to Mexico. I can't go through that pain one more time.
But yeah, so that was my pit. I had a really bad pinched nerve on my back, and it was like if I twisted a little bit or like went down to grab something, it felt like somebody stabbed me with a knife. It was horrible.
Have you been stabbed with a knife?
No, but
So how would you be able to compare that?
I don't know. I'm just assuming. Have you been stabbed by a knife?
The most I've done is probably cut myself with like a box opener.
Oh, that doesn't even count at all. But yeah, basically I'm a warrior, and I've gone through a couple things.
What have you gone through?
My pinched nerve. Have you never had a pinched nerve before?
I've had a pinched nerve. I probably still have a pinched nerve.
From what?
From the heavy lifting of me carrying this relationship.
Oh, you see. I thought you were gonna say the boxes at Arizona Mills.
I mean, that was pretty bad. But
you had to move a whole gelato case that weighed didn't it weigh like 20,000 pounds?
I mean, I don't know the exact weight. Probably 10,000 pounds, but
I'm dead. But
nah, probably 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. So when I got my pinched nerve, I was like, you know what? There's nothing else for me to do than get a massage. So I booked myself a massage, and the lady was like, do you want an hour or do you want an hour and a half? And I was contemplating it. But to be honest, like, my worst nightmare is falling asleep while getting a massage. I don't know why.
Because you might fart.
No.
Because you don't know what goes on.
I don't even fart in my sleep.
No, but like you wouldn't be able to know.
Imagine she's like, all right, the session is done and it's 20 minutes in.
And the blanket's on the roof.
No.
You're just butt naked and the blanket's on the roof.
No. I don't even fart in my sleep, so that's ridiculous. You probably would do that. The lady would
I wouldn't know until I woke up.
You wake up, the lady's passed out on the floor.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man. Someone brought zoo animals in here? Why does it smell like that?
But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do an hour just to play it safe. And she was like, in the beginning, she was like, do you want, what kind of level do you want? And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I need to go medium. I wanted to go soft, but
Should told her a 7.
no. I'm like, can you do medium? So she started, and I was like, I think at one point I was like, I yelled like that. And so she was like, do you want me to go lighter?
You went, yeah.
I was like, yeah. It was like pitch quiet, getting massage. And then I yelled, yeah.
She probably thought you were possessed.
She probably thought I was taking like business calls or something, like had my AirPod in or something. Yeah. But she was like, oh, did that hurt? So she like toned it back a few notches. But I was like, no, you can go, because I feel like she had to push really hard to get out that pinched nerve. And the whole time I was grabbing onto the chair, like trying not to scream my heart out. But it was good.
You know, you're supposed to enjoy a massage.
No. I was grabbing the walls.
She was probably in shock.
Yeah. It's because I needed to get that nerve out. So I was like, you know what? It's going to be painful, but it's going to be worth it.
Poor lady.
So, yeah, she was amazing. And then she told me, she's like, just relax, drink water, and stretch. So that's what I did. But yeah, so it's kind of my pit and my peak was getting a massage and then getting my pinched nerve out. But what about you? What was your peak and pit of the week? What's going on in your life?
Pit was ordering a bunch of clothes online and ordering them wrong. I think I bought it at the boys section or something. Those
little boys section?
Yeah. Messed up. But peak. I entered this raffle to win some Lightning McQueen Crocs, and I won them.
What the heck?
They light up when you step.
When are they coming in?
I don't know. I have to track them. They ship today.
And where are you going to wear those?
The club. Vacation.
First of all, you ain't doing none of those things for 6 months.
That's why I'm going to keep them in its case. No, I'm just kidding. I think they're reselling for a lot of money. So.
Oh, so you're not going to wear them?
Nah, I'm going to resell.
Imagine I'm going to wear them.
They look kind of cool. You want to see them?
Yeah, we'll put a picture up if you're watching on YouTube. I know. You're not showing up anywhere to that.
I'm highly considering wearing them.
To what?
Events.
You show up? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've never seen an atrocious shoe like
People are buying his and hers. Like, I debated getting you a pair.
And let me tell you what I'm going to do with them.
The only problem with you is, like, you're not a go-getter like that. You don't want to be head ass like that.
Head ass.
Like, you know,
like
those couples
like
that like,
that?
yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not gonna wear lightning McQueen
Like if you wear a
shoes.
green shirt, I wear green shoes type thing.
No, I'm not gonna be doing that.
I wear black pants. You wear a black shirt. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Mixed match.
No, I'm not matching with you. Only at Disney we're matching.
No. People do it outside of Disney too. They look like a team when they step out of the house.
We're gonna be. Oh, I have seen the people where they have like a little boy or a little girl and they're all matching. I think that's cute. But if we don't have kids, I'm not matching.
I think it's kind of ugly when like the dad matches the son.
I think that's cute when they're wearing the same little Vans, the same little.
Not
shoes.
when the kid's wearing shark shoes and so is the dad.
Okay, I've never seen a guy wear shark shoes.
You haven't looked hard enough. Happens
Yeah.
all the time. Go to a Macy's.
If you get little Vans for like your daughter.
It's only cute as a mom and daughter thing. Dad and son looks weird.
So you're telling me if your daughter says, "Dad, I want you to wear heels with me," you're not gonna put on heels?
I don't think I would. I don't got the ankles for that.
You'd break
I'd
your
buckle
neck.
them a couple times.
You'd break your neck, but you would do it for your daughter.
No, I don't think so.
You wouldn't go out in public dressed as a princess because she wants you to dress like a princess?
I mean, I might just do it at the house, but I don't know if I would step out in public like that.
What if she wanted to watch like a movie that had like princesses in it?
I'd take her to watch the movie and I'd buy her the dress.
But you wouldn't wear it? She would
Why,
really
why,
want
why would why would I traumatize her like that?
Because if she really wants her dad to wear a princess dress with her, you're going to wear a princess dress.
I mean, it's one thing if we're at home and she's like, "Oh, let me do your makeup," and then whatever. But if she's like, "Dad, come do your makeup with me," like, and she's 40, that's different.
That's so, you always go to the extreme. This is why we have issues, because you always go to the extreme.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'd let them experiment with me.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But would I go to a business meeting in a Disney dress? Probably not.
I've actually never done my dad's makeup.
You should.
I'm going to sit him down and force him to put on
He definitely has a
makeup.
face structure for it. He could just, you know,
Imagine if he wore lashes, he would look like
a diva
the diva.
in the making.
Yeah. That's actually something super funny because I feel like we were both raised in very different households. So like when we do talk about
No,
like,
they were completely different households. Where your household was at mine. They were different.
you're so dumb. No, I'm saying like
Distinct.
distinct households.
Yeah.
And we agree on a lot of things, surprisingly, like how we're gonna raise our kids and like what our future
Like what?
looks
Like,
like.
give an example.
Like we're gonna like we both agree on like how we're going to discipline our kids. Like we always
I think that the one thing that came up really recently, and we keep talking about it, and I feel like we're gonna stick to it, is that our kids will never have a job with us, or your parents, or my parents.
oh, they're never gonna work for us.
No, yeah, or like family, because like we keep talking about like how
You baby them if they work for
yeah.
you.
At the end of the day, when other employees find out like, oh, that's whatever their son or something, they don't hold them to the same accountability as a random person. You know, like like I'll give you an example. Like my parents, like my sister works for my parents, and I don't think like any of the employees are like would ever be like, oh, you didn't clean the table. Like,
Yeah. Or like go clean the bathrooms because you're the new girl.
yeah, or more of like, well, we don't want them to be bullied, but no, like more of like, you know, I've been having to do the bathrooms all the time. It's your turn type thing. Or just like holding them to the same accountability. Not only that, but like picture leaving a manager behind. Like if my parents have the manager and our kid works for them, would they ever get in trouble for being late? No.
The manager wouldn't be able to discipline them
Correct.
when it's needed.
And I believe that every person, in order to be able to mature in life, needs to live like the responsibility aspect of a job. Be on time, be a team player. You know, your actions affect something bigger than yourself, which is the company, like all that stuff. So you need to be held accountable for everything you do. And unfortunately, when like your kids work for you, you can't do that.
But I agree with that, but I feel like if they were in high school or in their 20s and they worked for somebody else and we could see that, you know what, they did learn discipline, they are responsible, they wouldn't take advantage of the situation because it's their parents owning the business, then I would be like more okay if they had learned that in the real world first.
I think that I mean, I still think that the moment they step into that environment, they take advantage.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
No, like you see it all the time. Like, you mean to tell me that if, like, if I worked for my dad right now, I would totally take advantage.
Yeah.
Like no, to me, maybe like if, like they had gone out and they wanted to pursue a business aspect of it, and they approached me with like wanting responsibilities, then it would be up to me, not a manager. Like I would never want them working for me as like a job that they could just go out there and get. To me, if they're gonna be a cook for me, they better do it at In-N-Out instead.
Really?
If they're gonna be a cashier, do it at McDonald's instead, like something like that. Yeah, there's nothing I could teach them out of that would benefit them in my like business as much as it would benefit them somewhere else.
Yeah, because you want more for them too at the end of the day.
Right. So it's like, if you want to be a cook right now, be a cook there. Because there, they'll hold you to the responsibility aspect of this, blah, 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 blah. If you slack off, somebody's going to get pissed there. Here, maybe they won't tell you so much, right? So you don't do them a favor by keeping them around. But if they want something bigger than that, like if they want, like, you know, we own a restaurant, they go, hey, like, we want to be involved in the business aspect, then it's you and I teaching them something. So then you could teach something and hold them to that standard and literally keep them right here, you know?
Yeah.
So that they don't slack off. They don't, because you don't do them a favor by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Just a thought. But I know for a fact we keep talking about like.
In situations like what would we do if we had kids and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that one's came up a lot, and we're like, man. I mean, at least we agree on that same part of like, I think they need to experience something else first.
Yeah. I think we have like the baseline of like how we're going to discipline our kids and how hard we're going to be on them. Because like, I feel like for you did come from like a stricter household.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because for me, I did come from a strict household, but since I was the youngest and I was like way later, like the age gap between my brothers and me is just like so many years that when it came to me, they were definitely more lenient. And I think since I was a girl, I was able to get away with more stuff.
You were the only girl.
I was the only girl. What did I say?
No, you were the girl. But like it helped even more that you were the only girl.
So I definitely could have been a trouble child for sure. But I don't know, by the grace of God, I came out like...
The grace of God?
By the grace of God.
He picked you up.
Con el favor de Dios, I came out like knowing I didn't want to be a trouble child and I didn't want to give my parents problems. And, you know, obviously when you're a teenager, you do, you know, you want to go have fun and hang out with your friends and it's normal, but like I never worried my parents how I have seen, you know, in the past, like my friends do with their parents.
Yeah.
So I think it was like pretty good that I have seen my parents kind of be a little bit more disciplined with my brothers and like I'm not going to become like that trouble child because I don't want to get disciplined. Like I've always known that. But I think for you, like you guys have all had the same kind of discipline.
Yeah, my dad didn't slow down as he went down the line.
Yeah.
He was pretty strict on all of us, yeah. My mom was strict too, but like definitely my dad was the one to enforce it. I could correct my mom sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was at work.
Yeah, exactly. but my dad, no. You can't crack him.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, your dad is definitely very strict, but I feel like it's not like a strict where like I have known people that their parents are strict and they don't kind of explain to them why they can't go out or why they can't do this. And I feel like your dad has always done a good job, like from what you've told me since you have, you know, in your childhood, explained to you why he's being strict with you.
Yeah.
And I think that
honestly,
makes a huge
that helped
difference.
me not like hold so much resentment over it. Because if there's one thing that I respect about my dad is like, and my mom too, is that they would always explain to me like why I was in trouble or why that wasn't okay. They were honestly just really involved in our lives. Like I remember from everything, like my dad couldn't see us, like he let us hit a wall and he tells you hit it because this is, you know, like always on top of us. Mm-hmm. I mean, his lectures were like an hour long a day, like in a good way, right? Like if it was either good things or bad things, but like he genuinely dedicated us a ton of time.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I used to hate like how much
he lectured you.
not even that. Like I was just like, oh my, he's into everything, like all my business and stuff, right? But it wasn't to the point like he wasn't snooping through my room. Like I'm just saying, like, you know, school. He was always questioning like, hey, like, have you looked into scholarships? I think that's where you know, stuff like that. And it would bother me. I'd be like, because I feel like he would question like how responsible I was, but it really kept me
on track.
Mm-hmm. Right? So just how he was really involved in our life, you know, my mom was too. Like my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she was like always looking out for stuff we were doing. Just how he was like really involved in that stuff. They were also always there for everything. Like sometimes it would even be like, you know, like I'd get Golden Scholar every year, and I'd be like, you know, this is the same thing as the last 5 years, and here's my dad again. But then I grew up, and I was like, what if he wouldn't have showed up one time?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I took it for granted because like he would always go, and I would be like, it's the same thing. He's gonna take me to dinner again tonight, and I'm gonna get one gift. Like, let's just skip to the gift or something. Like, I was so annoyed by it, right? But then now I'm like, what if that one time that he didn't show up, I'd be like, what the heck? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, he always had to work, but like, no matter what, he took time.
Yeah.
So I respect that a lot. And my mom, even more. Like, I mean, if my dad had a reason to be there, my mom was always there because she was a stay-at-home mom, always taking us everywhere, always like supporting everything we were doing. Like, she would always take me to like courses when I would stay after class, like outdoor activities that I would do and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
I think like what we learn from our households and how our parents, you know, raised us has a lot to do with our foundations now that we are adults.
Yeah.
And obviously when you meet somebody, it's like it's two completely different worlds colliding and trying to become one. And obviously like everybody was raised different, so we're all gonna have like different opinions about like how we're gonna raise our kids and like how the future is even gonna look like. But I'm kind of grateful that like we both agree that we're gonna be pretty strict with our kids. Just because we don't want to risk them coming out crazy or like troublemakers or...
But I also feel like...
Because in the long run, like, if you don't give your kids that foundation and if you're not strict with them, then that's just like how their personality is going to be for the rest of their life. To
me, though, investing the time when they're younger pays off at the end. Because, like... I'll say with like all the clarity on the planet that I know for a fact my mom and dad have never gone to sleep worried about one of us three because of how strict they were with us, right? Like we don't like trouble. Like they were always involved and they taught us better than to do most stupid things. I mean, we could still mess up, but I do believe if from this point forward, if any three of us mess up, it's on us.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that I think that my parents go to sleep at night, sound asleep, right? And some parents don't because, you know, why? Because maybe they didn't invest that much time into it or, you know, just things like that. Like, I think about that a lot. I'm like, you kind of have to invest because
But then as we become adults, like we are stuck in our same ways and our parents will never stop caring. Even if we're 20, even if we're 30, even if we're 40, we could be 30 with kids. I mean, and your parents are still going to care about you, still worry about you, but it's a different worry now, but they're still going to
but it's nothing like, oh man, like they're on drugs or like on something crazy, you know, like or where are they gonna sleep tonight, like something to the extreme of that, right? So, or I mean, so then that's the thing is like, I mean, I know for a fact, like especially my dad, my mom kind of toned down a little bit, but like she still kind of does at times. Like she'll question me, you know, because that's their parents, right? But and like you're saying, I don't think that's ever gonna stop. But I am glad that they don't like get involved in our stuff, because I think I think that is up to us to draw that line.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I've never had to, because like that would be just a crappy conversation I had.
think if your parents or my parents like got super involved, I think like we both right away would draw the line of like, okay, like for example, if we have kids, this is my kids, so if I'm gonna discipline them, don't get mad at that. It's because I'm going to discipline the way I want, and don't break don't break them out of timeout, or don't give them a treat if I told you that they're in trouble. Like, you have to respect that.
Yeah.
So I feel like we would draw the line right away with like...
No, and I 100% agree. Like, we're the type to do that. But also, I feel like if your parents got involved, like, I'm not even the type to, like, say anything. Like, I would just take it.
Yeah, I feel like it's... Like, if it's... I feel like it's not your position. I feel like it's
No,
me
it's
because
not.
it's my parents.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just...
But you know that there's a lot of people that, like... I mean, the wife doesn't get along with her in-laws, and that's kind of the position of the husband to be, hey, mom, don't talk to her like that. Don't say things like that. She's my wife. These are my kids. It's not the wife's position to be fighting the mom. And I think there's a lot of instances that we have seen that the son needs to get involved and control his mom, but he might be too scared to.
Yeah.
You know, to be too scared to speak up to his parents.
And not only that, but like then there's also the other side of the coin. Then we have also seen the guys that stand up and they're not going to be able to do much about it, right? But mom and dad are just like that. Like, I mean, they're 60 years old. How are you going to change them now, right? So
exactly.
then it would, like, if your parents were like that and I just saw you attempting to try, I would just be like, you know what? At some point, like, at the end of the day, it's a package deal. You will never be able to get rid of your parents. You'll never be able to get rid of your siblings. You'll never be able to get rid of your cousins. Never be able to get rid of your, like, whoever, right?
Family members.
Anybody in your bubble, you know? So, I mean, it would be hard. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's a package thing. You can't pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
So, to me, it would just be like, so we've seen both sides of the coin. Like, the guys that don't stand up, the girlfriends that don't stand up for, you know, their significant other. And then we've seen the ones that stand up and then the girlfriend's still mad, kind of like, oh, your mom, this and that. And it's like, well, mom's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, mom's not going anywhere.
No, family's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So just live with it. I mean, it's a package deal.
Yeah.
So.
And if you have already drawn your lines with your family about your partner or your kids and they still don't respect it, then obviously it's not going to change. They're still your family, but maybe you don't have to go to their house every weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of start distancing yourself. And if they get butthurt about that, maybe they'll realize
that there's a reason they don't want to be around that.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
But I think we're both lucky where, like, our parents wouldn't get involved, and they have never gotten involved in our relationship. Obviously, like, we don't have kids yet, so we don't know, like, and I don't think it's going to change. Like, I think for me, like, my parents, like, would be so excited to have grandchildren in the future that maybe they'd be like, no, like, no le regañes así, you know? I think it would be like, no, pues, está bien, va a estar bien aquí, déjalo aquí, que se quiere quedar,
you know what else is crazy? Like, there's people that get mad, like, so you mean to tell me, like, this is a valid question because I know I have a couple family members that get mad by this, right? So, if our kids are being disrespectful to your parents, are your parents allowed to hit them and yell at them? Disrespectful, I'm talking.
I mean, if they're hitting them, kicking their stuff, disrespecting their house.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, they're at the point that they're disrespecting.
Obviously, if the kids are, like, a little older, like, not babies, obviously, but if they are disrespectful...
Well, a kid can't be disrespectful at 4.
I know, I'm just, like, imagining
I'm thinking, like, that age of, like, they're throwing things at them, like, 6.
Yeah.
You know, all the way up to probably 15. Like, you can have a disrespectful 15-year-old to his grandparents.
I think if my kids are disrespecting my parents and
you're not there, do your parents have the authority to yell at them?
I honestly will give my parents the authority to hit my kids and yell at them.
And I agree with that.
But the issue is, I don't think my parents would.
I mean, a little slap to the hand or, like, don't be throwing things at me. Like,
yeah.
Like... Because there's nothing that I hate more than, like, that. Like, just seeing a kid, like, just be disrespectful. Like, it drives me insane.
I would tell my parents, like, you need to be strict with them. But I feel like they would just...
Not?
They wouldn't, because I feel like when it comes to, like, grandparents, they just want to baby the child. But also, like, this is the time to discipline them. Even though it hurts you because you don't want to hit them or yell at them. Like...
I mean,
you have
I agree with what you're saying because, like, I guarantee my grandpa used to hit like my parents. I don't think he's ever hit a single one of his grandchildren.
It's different. You know that
Yeah.
the grandparents are going to be a lot nicer, but
No, but obviously, like, but I'm saying, would you at least authorize
give them the
that?
authority. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure. Would
Okay.
you?
I think I would. I mean, I would hate for my kids to be disrespectful and like no one tells them anything.
Yeah.
I would even be okay with my sisters telling them something.
I think like if your sisters even like babysat our kids, like they have every right to
Like, you're not gonna break their things at their home.
yell at them,
Yeah.
hit at, like literally, because that's not going to fly around.
Yeah.
And that's a tough situation. Like I feel like a lot of people would be like I would never let anybody else hit my kids, but they're being
Obviously-
disrespectful.
Obviously, like, they're not gonna be like hitting them for everything. Like, I'm
Yeah.
talking an extreme.
Yeah, and
Because I don't even think they would. Like, I don't think they'd hit them.
yeah, and I
At
don't
all.
think any
Yeah.
of our family would hit them ever.
But I always see that, like, come up as a question. Like, oh my God, like, grandpa spanked the kid. And
Yeah.
they're so mad. I'm like, well, he was throwing toys at his head. Like, and he
But that would
stopped.
be tough if like you wanted, like if you let your family hit our kids and
you didn't like it.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. Like, why is your mom yelling at him? It like the opposite. I'm just like, have your mom yell at him so that
Yeah.
we're not the bad guys all the time, you know?
Or so they can learn some respect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna have to drop off our kids at your parents' house, a little boot camp, because your dad will
Maybe
set them straight.
Maybe summer boot camp.
Summer boot camp at
Well,
the
no,
Valdez's
actually, I don't think so.
house.
Because my dad keeps telling me that when he has grandchildren, he's stopping being strict. And he's
Oh.
he's gonna encourage them doing travesuras.
So that way you can deal with it?
Yeah. He says that way, that's how I'll pay for everything I did to him.
Oh, that's actually really smart of your dad. But that sucks for us. I think that's like, there's so many things that like we always bring up and like, oh my God, if our kid did this, what would you do?
But
Tough.
honestly, I feel like it's because we both just kind of want to explore that because we do come from very different backgrounds.
I just don't want to have disrespectful kids. I think there's nothing more ugly than a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old cussing at their parents.
You know,
And the parents being like, honey, don't say that. Honey. I
You
go,
know what's always bothered me?
let me get the chancla. I'm going to go in the closet real quick and set you straight. And you're going to come out whimpering like a dog. And let me tell you, that's going to be the last time you ever cuss at me again. But I'm going to love my child, so it's going to be great.
so you're going to spank your kids?
I'm going to spank them if they're cussing
I
at
don't
me.
think I could. I mean, maybe if they were like cussing me out. Like just one good one in the butt.
So hold up before you start what you were gonna say. My parents probably only spanked me one time, and it just took that one time. That every time
to be traumatized.
every time I would do a travesura, my dad starts going for the cinto, and I start screaming at the top of my lungs, like probably blew their eardrums out. And then they would be like, okay.
She learned.
Okay, we're not going to hit you. And I'm like, yeah. See? So you have to learn your little ways when you're getting spanked.
I feel like that's still not going to work with you. You're going to be so angry at your kids that you're still going to do it.
The thing is like, oh my God, we go to like the mall or like, oh my God, at a restaurant. Oh my God. They're like ordering and
If they get the wrong ice cream.
oh, that pisses me off when they order bubble gum, but they wanted
cotton candy?
That
Yeah.
happens probably 10 times a day. I'm like, it literally says cotton candy right there. No,
The kids
no.
can't read though.
But what pisses me off is like, the kids are like on the floor throwing the temper tantrums, and like the parents are like, just get up, sweetie, get up. I go, I'm gonna grab you by the back of your neck and get you up real quick, because that
What are people gonna think? You're
No, no, no.
reenacting this and looking them dead in the eyes.
because let me tell you, that floor is nasty. That is, and they're all licking it. I'm like, good luck.
Why would you
Good
grab
luck.
the back of their neck?
It's like a Shih Tzu.
You're
You know
taking
that?
their purebred?
You know that if you grab a Shih Tzu and they're purebred, that you can grab them from the back. You did that to Snoopy, and actually,
I didn't pick him up.
You did that to Snoopy.
I did not pick him
Or
up.
was it my dad? I think it was my dad. He grabbed him. He's like, oh, he's purebred. Grab him, but I go, absolutely not. You need to put my damn dog down. Yeah. But anyways, what were you gonna say, honey?
What was I gonna say?
You were gonna say something 10 minutes ago, and then I was like, but before you say that,
yeah.
Wait, but before, no, I'm kidding.
It just really bothers me when like if you not had a kid, right? And you and I are all dolled up, clean shoes,
Looking good, looking fly.
fresh Nikes, fresh pants, fresh shirt, and then the kid's got like mixed matched Crocs, no underwear on, plaid pants, and like a orange brown t-shirt.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like I'm like, I believe that no parent looks good if their kid doesn't look good as well. Because there's genuinely parents that don't take the time to like put their kids together.
I don't know if I agree with you on that, because like kids, like if you're out and then they pee themselves, you have to change the pants, and like you like the backup pants, or they get dirty.
Okay, but you can still invest in like making them look clean.
Okay,
if you whip out a clean clothes, I mean a clean cambio, like they'll still look good. But to me, it's like when they're all chamagosos, all nasty looking, and mom and dad look spiffy at a party. I hate that. There's parents that generally don't take the time to like be cleaning their kids.
Oh no, I hate when they have like a dirty like mouth or anything,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, just grab a wipe. It's like really quick, just grab a wipe and stuff. But kids are kids, and at the end of the day, until we're parents,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
We'll
That's one of the
be
things I'm
able
gonna be
to.
strict on. I'll be like, you're gonna shower. I hate your bed hair.
yeah.
Water hose.
Water hose? Why'd you say it like that?
I want to hose them
Water
down with a
hose.
water hose.
Did your parents ever say like if they're like when they were waking you up and you were late that they would throw water on your bed
No, I wasn't.
spray
I wasn't
you.
abused.
or spray you with water?
No,
That's never happened to me.
literally. You want to know how my dad fixed that? My mom used to come, Edward, it's time to go. Edward, it's time to go. I think my dad got tired of hearing my mom like yell at me, so he walked into my room. He goes, "I leave in 5 minutes. If you're in the car, we'll talk when I get back from school." So that means I was gonna miss school, and if I missed school, I knew I was gonna get yelled at. So I never did it again. I would just wake up at the first time.
What is a time that your dad has been like strict with you and that you were like, wow, like I learned my lesson, or like something that like you at the time were upset about, but now you're like, now as an adult, you realize.
If I hit my sisters, he'd tell me, he's like, you're stronger than them. They're way too young. If you want to know what it feels like to get hit by somebody bigger than you, I'll hit you. And I'll be like, okay, that's kind of scary. So yeah, I don't hit my sisters.
But that was when you guys were like
no, that's
11 or
young.
12.
I mean everything that like he used to tell me when I was younger. Like there was obviously a point in my life that I was like, oh my god, this makes sense. No one wants something better than you than me, right? No one wants to see you better than me. No one wants you to be a better person than themselves, but me. Like no, like.
Than your parents.
Right, like nobody's gonna want me to be better than them but my parents, right? And it's such a parent thing to say, but genuinely I believe that now. Like when I got my first new car, like I think my dad was more excited than the first time he got like a super nice car. You know, when Emily got her first car, like he was way more excited than when my mom got her first new car. And when we got a house, like I think he was more excited for that than like when he bought his first house. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like all those things that I believe now that like, because sometimes he didn't tell me, he's like, the day you start doing things because I tell you and I'm your dad and you don't question it, you're gonna move a lot faster in life. He's like, because I'm the only person that's never gonna give you bad advice, right? So there was times that like I'd be so annoyed because I wouldn't understand why he wanted me to do something. I'm like, I just know a better way to do it. But I'd be like, you know what? Like he told me, and he said this, and later I'd be like, oh my god, he was right. Like it would annoy me that he was right because like I couldn't understand. I was just so young. And
you know what I'm thinking when you're saying that, when you were washing your car?
Well, that's one that was coming up to my mind. One time Joseph and I were washing our car. And like Joseph's like scrubbing from the bottom, this and that. And then he's like, we're washing like this. And like we're going up and my dad's looking at us. He's like, start from the top. And we're like, nah, that's fine. So we're going like this. He's like, start from the top. And he screamed, but I was used to it. He's like, start from the top. Because we were washing his car. And Joseph's like,
he wanted you to wash it.
And Joseph's always been bigger than me. Like, he was 6 foot at the time already. He's like, God, dude, I don't know how you can do it with your dad's yelling. I'm like, just tell me he's crazy. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
used to it, you know, because he's like that. Just like, no, bro, like, he's way stricter than my dad. My uncle's strict. I'm more terrified of my uncle than my dad. But, like, obviously it's the opposite for him. He's more terrified of my dad. And then he starts giving me an example. He's like, so you mean to tell me that when you shower, you wash your feet first, and then all the dirt comes down? And, you know, like, it's just, like, scenarios like that, like, stuck with me for a long time. That I'm like, you're right. Like, why would I start scrubbing here? And then, like, the nastiness, you start from the top so that you get clean, you know? Because the water drops. So it was the same logic for the car. Just a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that there has been scenarios that you learned that you'll never be able to do again.
How did you learn growing up? I mean, for me, I was a test batch. I feel like my sisters learned from me because I would mess up.
Well, that's the case for me because I was, like, the last one that, like, I learned from my brothers, and, like, I just didn't want to do what they did and get yelled at, so I just made sure to...
So you went through that too?
It was kind of the opposite that you went through.
The complete opposite.
But they were more lenient on me, for sure. Yeah. But
well, and that always stuck with me because my dad wouldn't say it so much. Like, I would just always hear it in convos, like, of older cousins that were also the oldest sibling. To just be like, I just feel like everything I do, my siblings are looking at, like, I feel like I have no room to mess up. And I would take that to heart because, like, my Emily especially, always looking, like, up to me and stuff. Or, like, she was always just a year behind on everything because she's only a year younger. That I'm like, you know what, if I don't get a scholarship, like, what example do I set?
Yeah, you're her
or,
role
like,
model.
Is she gonna give up? Like, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I always had stuff like that in my head.
Yeah.
But luckily, I mean,
that's a good way of
been a good kid.
thinking since you're the oldest, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But that is it, you guys. That is a wrap for episode 12 of Cafecito Corner. We will see you guys in the next episode. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you.